Soma udoma hotelfo ebenya de akwakodi ho anaase edin ene wo nanso eni ho ese nipa da sani ebetu akwawiem ene onyankropon akotena democracy eyema bibifo anaase enyema yen kwasi broni tim popa ene sentia wade vaccination eba abibiman mu na family plan so mpo no enhye ben ana kwasi broni hyehyeye ewo de krom enti a wade etoa yen eba ne sen ana gay ati atese ewo wiase afana nyinara ene we se illuminati ene we se freemason ene we se sumwe mu ni nyinara ahyase firi he no broni tim po a wade sanyema we nyinara eba no de atwa bibiman mu no anything we entram so hwe wake up Africa kwasiada we ni kwasiada bia awia dumienu ekopem awia no mienu live on Royal TV eya dwumadi a ofa poku danko ye executive director edema free the mind movement ene ofa Israel Nkrumah a eye coordinator edema free the mind movement no
ebeka me Michael Asma ho
na yesim konya na madi dwumadi ho chiame na ensem bia tise no ye gina twekronkron so abakosem ene ntwere ahodo so na ede mo hu ba bia obibini ufiri ene mu a eduro ene soma wo sombo na mabrofo sisi ache ebraso se call together twele kaye no etumi bam ne no ana ahyase o free the mind movement dwumadi efre se wake up Africa dwumadi so braso se ye fa dwumadi live on Royal TV so kwasiada we ni kwasiada bia awia dumienu kopim no mienu na ya de so adwenche na wasemmisa ye ano e de ama wake up Africa abibiman moma yen sore
Amuna oba ye krumse oba betray yamesu eche no toni ba eche no dia sansi akwanu mana dia sanyo akwanu mana dia sanyo akwanu mana dia sanyo akwanu mana dia sanyo Kosiboni wa mantia sai Amuna oba ye krumse oba betray yamesu eche no toni ba eche no dia sansi akwanu mana dia sanyo akwanu mana dia sanyo akwanu
Abusame wa kwa ba bio eba dwumedi edukosede bia menewo ibubo ho yetsenase yedi nkomo yetie nsemo esoso yetie abakwasem ene kusiada so yede ba besom eye wake up Africa show se yetie bia no obade ebie wiem aman se yemetsenase na yendi nkomo a na wotwetwe mu no yedi he menewo ni se edusa bia na abodu yeni na wafro wumi bi na wumi bi so atenase se ne be ya ye behu de ekoso e wiase na mene wo se nim bebre se wake up Africa de edukusi de bia mpelefo mienu o de di duma ne de o ma yakse ne etie na ka hu se sa edu ho a na o question bia o pese o ka bia na se o comment bia o pese o de bebia no akonya ebeba ma na wotumi e de se o benyina aba na yakinkan na yetie no fefefe abuso egusu a ye ka tira wo se wake up Africa se ne tie bia no edukusi ada ebodu mienu a na se wotina TV echi na wo hwa na wafre wumie bi esan say questions ba no say media mentumi anhwe wie na mentumi anhwe etitirikyiri mu se ne sitie most no person who follow in social media handles na wake up Africa GH wake up Africa GH uko in YouTuber wake up Africa GH saso na uko in Facebook wake up Africa GH saso na obetumi a text message and I say obetumi a WhatsApp 050 46 43052 050 46 43052 o WhatsApp and I say o text and normal SMS question bi a be say bia no e bi nya adagere eyiwa no senya open e so bi so aye kan samu a LGBT husam na topic I discuss the demonic spirit behind the sexual revolution in the world today. And even some ebusu aye bobo. Na wotwe mu no sɛnea tie wɔ fa ya poku dankwa e bi enwe abakwasɛm mu ama yehu bebia nyama bebre efiri ba ende LGBT abagye hini e wɔ man Ghana titire e wɔ wiase na ɔman yɛte ase sɛ even state no crazy US no ɛyɛ Liberty State no ɔman yehu sɛ ni nyina no ɛyɛ bɛma a wetwa ne bɛma ato atwene na wasa kuta na wafura ntoma na wayɛ no ho te sɛ ɔbaa ɛno na yehu no US sɛ Jonathan Kanto etumi explaining wɔ ne video mu no saa so na Israel nkroma de enwie mu yehu sɛ nsɔre bebree ɛwɔ Ghana ha ɛne deɛ ɛkɔ so a yɛnni ɛsɛ ɔmo wɔ ka mo wɔ mo anaasɛ ɔmo wɔ ka mo wɔ mo no ne nyinaa no Israel na yɛte aseɛ sɛ LGBT ɛyɛ adeɛ ɔbɔ adeɛ akyiri sɛ yɛ practice a na asase so a ɛwɔ no ɛde nnome aka no ɛsan sɛ ɛde nnome ka no so a nduaba ne ndɔba a ɛwɔ no nyinaa no nnome aka no nka ɛsɛ sɛ yɛgyae ɛno wɔ na mpanimfoɔ nyɛ adagyeɛ so ɔmbɛma wate aseɛ saa practice no ɛnyɛ ade pa saa practice no a bebree na ɛgye to mu no a bebree na ɛntumi ɛmmɔ wa no ɔmo deɛ ɔmo so masi pene so ɔmo bɛka kyerɛ no wahu sɛ deɛ ɛkɔ so wɔ wiase no ɔbɔ adeɛ ani kyi nti ɛbɛyɛ a twɛ ho firi ho na ɛnkɔfa bɔne bi ɛmbrɛ wo anaasɛ ɛnkɔfa nnome bi ɛmbrɛ wo nanso ɔma yɛhu kasamfoni a ɛnɛ Ghana ha ɛyɛ LGBT foɔ ɔmotumi atwa ndwom sɛne kasamfoni wohwɛɛyɛ no bɛrima a wayɛ ne ho baa magazine ɔkyerɛ bɔndwom no turumu ebi wɔ wo fie sɛ wote ndwom no bebree na request sɛ yɛnsa nso repeat ndwom no kɔ social media handle na kona kotie ubenya the past videos and I say videos ayi na no ubenya ho na wahwe sene tie bia no busua ebi kosie da sei no na unim se edwumadi a eye soronko na se edwumadi eye soronko ebrewa ende wo fa ya poku dankwa oye the Free the Mind executive director waya krado and so or the brew saso na Israel nkroma the national coordinator for Free the Mind ono so waya krado say and so do be room na wo hu de ekoso e wi ase e say in some way no endra bebre na afre say part of the churches no ye the engine to part of the churches no the agia to no enam pro start free ni himfa niti de bi e free ba no na e kire say so wo je nhihye ni na atu enti the penifration kete so mama wo hu no eno a na yegusu a yebobo hu no ye part 1 ebrel part 2 na wotwe betwe mu no part 3 na ye de brel no na wo hu de tue mu ene de ekọ ene de eba esan se oman ye wo mu no mpenifuo so mutumi gigina na mo ka no kore ekere wiase no anaso oman Ghana na ye sa ade we obo ade echi ena na mpenifuo no se mpenifuo no ntumi nka de a ende on mmeka na nipa nyina no ada ho so se be yom nkodi bone na daati bi omo nyira entime ma ne kasa enya tintin no me companyfo no na ma da omudi na dwumedi no akoso se na wo hwe bi ni Michael Asma abuja me na me di dwumedi mu chiame na mekọ Israel ho na me chia no na ma konfa ya poku dan kwa ho na me chia no na edi dwumedi no ahyehye so na de wo ho bia no dwumedi no ekoso no me de be ma se na wo pe Israel e ma kwa ba njoso apomu ho ye na de ho afa papa ba fa ho thank you ba fa ho pa ejanu moda nkwan sronko over over so the numero apomu design bako de kaza boko dia ese boko ankasa na wo twetwe mu no ma yehu nyama bebre na hu dwuru wo mo still na bebre na so ntem mo ho ase ebi mo fra de mo kan say it is their own right and they have the such right to practice whatever they want because democracy am the right to practice anything they want and when you start to talk about that you are infringing on their rights. That is what they are saying. But the question I'm saying, have you also thought of Obadie your opposite way? The question was not answered. That is where I got to win the conversation. But for now, the talk in the town is LGBT. That is in the town. Most churches, most people, people, some of the churches say it is right for them to give such people the benefit so that they can change them in that other way around. Some also invite them into their auditorium churches because of something, if I may say it, money. But you are telling us, say, or see who said, dear Kosono, etia obadie. and then I say not about your political issue and I say to fight somebody, but you are fighting for body. So they want to know, say, if it is right given by them by democracy, you know, body also, is this such a right given to them? Meaning, say, like I say, no. But I want you to answer such question for them in clear, so they will understand, say, the more and yet, Obini Mejama.
That's it. Yedi ka ebechia arefo nyina.
Okay.
Na ya can say se nipa nimu a democracy ku atia obade. Eno na abaye platform a ewiase akogina so ku de atia obade.
Okay.
Democracy account so wo right. But obade only democrat indeed. So we need right.
Okay.
Obade person tia se. They also were choose you are woyen, a no sooner you are there. They are not how I can say. Or bad yet you are there now, so the democracy, and they now right. Macau Hada say, Yemi I am pet Sadian. Yahoo say, see a two democracy training, be a two big chat.
Okay.
And the Anton Trinity. Also, democracy so ne rights or they pray. Yes, democracy is a false freedom.
Okay.
I bet me I can't say
that is the same democracy.
Yes.
Okay.
Right to destroy yourself.
Okay.
Right to kill yourself. And in your any jina yeshe from about their standpoint. They will see democracy now. And then, about last week, you know, the cook of Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
You they were now. And then, maybe per se, let's say, oh, be more you want to know. As some American,
yeah.
And at the end also, yes, started near can say. And no Israel, a dinner chima or board yet, no be not quite man, foreign goes, woman by a look and a year, King Solomon. One is to see high places, altars, any sanctuaries, Eddie Massa, foreign gods. I have evidence in Yebeko 1 Kings chapter 11 verse 7.
Okay, 1 Kings chapter 11 verse 7. Then did Solomon build an high place for Chemos, the abomination of Moab, in the hill that is before Jerusalem, and for Malach, the abomination of children of Ammon.
Into what kind of Leviticus 18:21.
Leviticus chapter 18 verses 21.
Verse 21.
Okay. Leviticus chapter 18 verses 21.
Verse 21.
Okay. Leviticus chapter 18 verses 21. It says this, and thou said, and thou shalt not let any of thy seed pass through the fire to Molech. Neither shalt thou profane the name of thy God. I am the Lord.
Molech, no, one of the foreign gods. Now Israel for a sacrifice or mumba, Eddie Manu.
Okay.
And a coba say. And now I'm done or much ma or bad, you know, Mokosum, foreign gods. Solomon see altar, sanctuary, and then they take a home man. And about 18 so Molech on a sacrifice, Sanya Mary Nadiama. And to when I know cosum Tina or bad, yes, she shall say, Barman and Bermada, Barno Bada, a Chiwadia. Okay. Yentia na refer who call Leviticus cry I can say Nimina the strong influences are a bar Israel also
Emra wo mu da na wo mu atima agbo ade wo mu embrace foreign gods no eno di sa na yen kan say akan anti yen kan Leviticus 18:22 to 27 and Leviticus 20
verse
13 o kan we ni na me share bo e kan say ene officially me introduce Jonathan Kahn. Jonathan Kahn ye American Messianic rabbi and also a New York Times best-selling author. Now the latest book now what true of running the return of the gods. And Anna all done this America. The ACs no host say from the 60s the youth counterculture no. And you see no America a beautiful coin. What time about there and what beautiful coin. And these ancient gods no asan ba obu na control areas. Okay bibi so ejai prayer school prayer yes 1962 Supreme Court and a banning school sponsored prayer in public schools say Sadiano violated the First Amendment. Now schools, you know, one bet me a quacosia, ya ban is out officially mean to me for ya man the can say no yet schools sponsored prayer public schools. The other ban and yes, no bet me a could park so I am moi Lama ya mwadi. Mo hwera mo nkotwe bimbe because say ni pan e bi kwa no nkam but oko school ni bi ntino o trinity akọ twem ntino ye prayers every public schools ntino e kwa ye nkam bi sansuna 1980 ona mde bibi ebe Stone versus Graham e ho no yi 10 commandments also free schools and on Kentucky law almost adopted they pages the diabobo school hall a court and kwala parents at the court to say hey as a Christian woman the way by yes where the elevator the yes where the abana the court no so gitu say muntu be fa saane ma munyi de mu da ko bobo school wo no nti 10 commandments so ye ja ne kwan nti no na say abede ya bie kwan no e de ama abusum na be e ka chire kwa eni say school pledge only 202 no more recite pledge of allegiance to America and also the court Emma appeal court can say and also so no we guys are more reciting it's your constitution can mommy
no when 28 June 2002 Ghanaian Times na divide I say US national pledge declared unconstitutional Los Angeles in a statement in Efuba. I say an appeal court has ruled that the pledge of allegiance in the US is unconstitutional because it contains the words under God. The pledge may no longer be recited in school. In a ruling that the already provoke of furious reaction, the 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeal in San Francisco overturned the 1954 Act of Congress, which insisted the phrase under God.
And you know, you hey, when you frequent unconstitutional. religiously biased. Enti munyi mpo. Enti kan book no true no. The Return of the Gods no. O ma yehu we no nyina say when mom here no na di pia obo ade fi we na pon no bie. Ena ancient gods no so enya kwan.
Okay.
E ba bi wo mu. Na question bi san say ye kwa first picture na.
Okay.
We do $1 US bill.
Okay, your first picture here $1 US bill. $1 US bill. And in your first picture, ebeba. Tisaya
Na gentia, you do $1 US bill no, e ba betu ho no. E ho de ya ka American motor no. E de na e ka. E ma ba ho.
Okay. For two of my na infant casam why?
$1 US bill. Aba. E de na atwo one so.
In God we trust.
In God we trust. This is America's motto. Now say in God we trust. Now say US Constitution. I can the Bible see under God. Now say any their own constitution we give you $1 bill in a year per one.
David.
And then I make up for the numbers of what you. Everybody then have a much more amamful. Ain't you know, ye year before. Until you view no. Jonathan say, ancient gods no, one man no possess Israel a dan chino. No more than son. The big no. And I say, although you have the possessor. And I be autosono enchantress. And I be autosono or a destroyer. Now, ye baba the share the return of the gods no.
Okay.
Over carry one son ya ko video no.
Okay.
The names of the three dark just over bisia. Yeah. Until over carry every ha e dia kosio.
Okay.
Until me crowd ni ntie. The return of the gods. Say ancient Israel, Daniel Tikoma of Boadiano. These three gods came and possessed the people. Samson America so upam Oboadian na sitram. Until the same three gods, Abba. Only they know prayer the dark trinity. Come on.
Okay, the dark trinity, Jonathan Kahn, content American brutal culture war are really about the return of the gods. Okay, page 3. The names of the three dark spirits. Christianity brought about the casting out of gods from Western civilization. Upon re-entering, they would seek to bring about the casting out of Christianity from Western civilization. He argues that the gods or spirits that have returned to America and Western civilization are the same gods that seduced ancient Israel. He points out the following demonic spirits are the three most prominent gods that transformed ancient Israel and led to their fall from God. 1. The processor. That is, Baal represents the nation turning away from God. His strategy is to separate the nation from the world and the way of God. In America, he did this by removing prayer from schools, by causing God's way to become alien to the nation children. He could cause the alienation of American from God. The enchantress, also known as Miss Baal, this spirit is revealed in the book of Judges. The two god Baal and the Ashtoreth or Ishtar are linked together. The enchantress god represents the goddess of sexuality. She started the sexual revolution. The return of Ishtar to the modern world, weakened marriages, sex became a god to be pursued. American became filled with pornography. Images that were once forbidden or taboo began to fill the movie screen. There was another side of Ishtar, another power and another agenda. She was a sorcerer, or the transformer, a god who changed man into woman.
We are not the third one.
Okay. And a woman into a man by altering human desire, identity, and nature itself. The transformer takes the sexual revolution to a deeper level and transform America and Western civilization. The destroyer, the most mysterious member of the dark trinity, is known as Moloch. His name makes several appearances in scriptures. For example, when King Solomon fell away from God, he built high places, altar, and sanctuaries for the foreign gods. One of them was Moloch. He was the god associated with sacrifice of human beings, especially children by their parents. The abomination is a sign of a nation that has turned entirely against way of God and become lost to him.
Entry Jonathan Kahn, a cowboy, editor say ancient Israel, a Danny Latino, Baal, and you be a king Bible, Biana, Baal worshippers, and a large Baal, a priest, and you be any. Nanini say, what would done with you? Me and saying a Baal, a Baal, Sana Astor, Queen of Heaven. Or Ishtar, and I say Ateta, or also by, or no, they create sexual confusion. The power no you with now, we are about Bema, we say, and also on to the display. I'm a Moloch, or also by, when they are sacrifice of children, and no. Now, men can't say that sacrifice is not to say. Yanko tie. Jonathan Kahn said all can't be a funny book now. What on your first video?
Okay, your first video. I wake up Africa and do consider be a body me na jumedi etutia. Kai say be catch no bi na unia abenya nokre sana mpenifo mi no omudi edwa omutumi kan semo ye oba de adwene ekire nipa no. Sa edu say wo so obefro ni bi na wonhu na daachi bi no ankoya yiraba. Abuso video ye du so a ye behwe the return of the gods, the dark trinity. And in the video,
that we're in when Israel turned away from God, because we're in that pattern, that they're going to return. And with Israel, there were three primary gods, among others, that epitomize everything. One I call in the book, in the Return of God, it's called the possessor.
And you call these, by the way, the dark trinity.
Yes, it's a trinity. That's right, the dark trinity. Yeah, the first is called the possessor. The second is called the enchantress. And the third is called the destroyer.
So these are the three primary gods that have returned. As look, you mentioned rightly, Jonathan, beginning in the 1960s, a bit of a national backsliding away from God really began then. Prayer removed in the schools, the so-called sexual revolution. You dig into it in the book.
Yeah, well, first you open the door. The door is turning from God. But when you open the door, the house is never going to stay empty. That's what it's saying. And so what happens, you have the first one called the possessor. In Hebrew, his name was Baal or Baal, which means the possessor or the Lord or the master or the owner. And what he did, or this principality, is he was the alternate substitute gods. He was the God of the turn away from God. I'm going to be your new God. I'm going to make you prosperous. And he's the one, or this principality, that drove God out of the public square, out of the palace, out of the children's education. So what do you see in America? You see a spirit that starts driving God out, step by step by step. Started small. People said, okay, it's taking prayer out. Look at where it has come, because again, you empty the house. If you empty the house, something else is coming in. And so what comes in is this spirit of Baal.
Really, the main pagan deity. It seems Baal was the most prevalent in ancient times.
Yeah, he's later on, he's actually associated with Zeus, in the time of the Greeks and the Romans. So he was the king of the Canaanite gods. He's the first one. He's like that first spirit that comes in. And then he brings his friends. And so in the Bible, it says he caused Israel to forget God. So so what's happening is there's a spirit that has caused America to forget God, to forget that it ever knew God. You know, if you knew back then in the 60s, if people knew where it was going to end up, you know, what the thing is this, these are pagan gods or pagan spirits. So if they come to a Christian nation, their mission is to turn a nation that is, quote, Christian and turn it into a pagan nation. Paganizing. That is what we have been watching for the last half century. When you're saying what's going on, that's what's going on. And it even says he caused Israel to turn away from the commandments. We literally have struck down the 10 commandments in America. We banned it. The spirit of Baal is in all these things. We are watching this nation and this civilization becoming pagan.
And you have written many times, Jonathan, and really many of your books about the parallels between Israel's trajectory with the Lord and America's trajectory with the Lord, our shared destinies in some ways. So I guess it's no surprise to you, obviously, that some of the same problems that plagued ancient Israel are now plaguing America.
Yeah, with the Harbinger and the other books, it's speaking about the signs that happen. Now this is speaking about the actual spirits that are in there, and they're in America now. And it actually goes deep because the process of Baal taking possession of a culture is that it's deep. Because, for instance, in the pagan world, you had many gods. You didn't have one God. So you didn't have one truth. You had many truths. You could make your own. You could make your idol. I created my own reality. That is what we are watching when people says your truth, my truth. If I say I'm a tree, you have to accept that because there's no truth, because that's pagan. That is totally pagan. And when you also take away God, everything becomes God. Sex becomes God. Nature becomes God. Ideology becomes God. This is behind wokeism. This is behind, even behind, I won't get into, we don't have time, but in ancient mystery linked to our addiction to computers. Computers are linked to this. Virtual reality, New Age, all this is linked to Baal and the paganizing of America.
1960s, the door was really open to this, Jonathan. Did Baal, the sign of the possessor, physical sign, did it manifest itself in America?
Yeah, right near here. Right near here.
And we're in New York City, just a reminder.
Yeah, this is one of the signs of Baal actually was a bull, a bronze bull. All over Israel it was a sign, and it was linked to they went to Baal because they said, well, you're going to help us be prosperous. You're going to help our fields. Well, what happened is in the 1980s, a sign appeared right near here. They put down, they laid it. It was a massive bronze bull, the sign of Baal, and the sign in the Bible of a nation that once knew God and is now turned away from God and is now subject to Baal. And right by Wall Street, by the financial, which is about prosperity, we call it a bull market. That's a Baal market. There's actually, I won't go into it because we don't have the time, but even a part of Baal's temple was recreated and erected right near where we are in New York City and in Washington.
Bulls and Baals. Folks, you're not going to hear this anywhere else. I guarantee. The book is called The Return of the Gods, and it can be yours. Possessor, Baal, number one. The second member of this dastardly trio, the Enchantress. Tell us about her.
Actually, in Canaanite mythology, she is known as the wife or lover of Baal, but she appears everywhere. She appears in the Bible as she's called Astarte, or actually Ashtoreth. Ashtoreth. And you see Baal and Ashtoreth, and in that order.
First is Baal, the Ashtoreth poles.
Worship. So first is Baal, then comes Ashtoreth. And what was she? Well, she's known as Ishtar as well. She's also known as, when she went to Greece, she became Aphrodite. She became Venus. It was a very dark thing. She was the goddess of sexual immorality. Sexuality, divorce from marriage. She was actually known as the great harlot, the prostitute goddess. And so when she comes into a culture, what's going to happen? Well, what we expect that as Baal comes in, the turning from God first, then we would expect something to happen to sexuality, a revolution. And that's exactly what happens starting in the 60s. The sexual revolution starts. This is the power. This is the principality that will seek to possess a nation by turning the Christian sexual values, or values of marriage, into pagan sexual values. That's exactly what we have been witnessing ever since. So this starts taking over our culture. It's the second part, and it goes deep.
The Enchantress is a goddess of prostitution, as you describe in the book, Jonathan. A goddess of drunkenness, even, and many vices, but all coming back to sex, promiscuity and gender confusion and gender madness.
It's going to get to that. Yeah, it's going to get to that. Yeah. So but it starts first with taking sex out of marriage. Remember, she's the prostitute goddess. So what does the prostitute do? Takes sex out of marriage, puts it into the marketplace, puts it into the culture. So we're watching the sexualization of America and of the West. And what that means is she was detrimental to marriage. So we're watching marriage become weakened. We're watching marriages getting destroyed, broken homes, broken children, because that's what it does. But even, I'll give you a little mystery here that, and again, we can only touch on the things that are in the book, but the word for the prostitute back then in Greek is the word porne or porn. We get pornography actually comes from this goddess. The first pornography was from her. She put the images of naked women. The pornographic literature came from her. We talk about the word erotic of happening to the world. Well, that comes from the Greek word eros. Eros was a god who was born of this goddess. It all comes back.
One last member of that dark trinity, the destroyer. Before we go, about a minute before the break, Jonathan, who is the destroyer?
It goes right in progression. First turning from God, then sexual immorality. Then what happens is Israel started offering up their children as sacrifices to the gods, particularly the god Molech. And Moloch is the destroyer. And so what this is a pagan thing. This was common in the pagan world. But what it means is if we are continually following these gods, if they are coming back, if we are being paganized, we're going to end up actually offering up our own children. And like clockwork, it happens. We legalize abortion. We have killed 60 million children. And we won't have time to go into the mystery, but even when you look at I bring it out in the book, that the ancient ways of offering up the children to Moloch are actually being reproduced right now without even people realizing.
I mean, it's unbelievable that people should know, Jonathan, what went on in ancient times and during Bible times. Moloch, this idol, people literally would sacrifice their children. The Bible called it passing through the fire.
Yes.
I mean, and you detail it.
Yeah, it's the same way it happened with priests. I mean, we have our own form of priests. Same way, actually, more poor children, basically minorities, were killed because of this god, and it's happening the same way here. It's following like clockwork. You can say, how could they ever do that? We're doing it. We're following. This is what the gods do. This is what the pagan world did, and that's what we're doing.
And 60 million, 60 million here in the U.S. Folks, here is more on Jonathan's brand new blockbuster, The Return of the Gods.
The script I read concerning about Jonathan Kahn issues are all related about the three dark gods, the enchantress, the possessor, and the destroyer. Nyama mutumi and I said the ACC amasa uncle for holding allegiance to certain practices be a course. It is abortion be qua hold to a certain gods number. Say issues be course of maybe who are alleged to one of the gods. And then Oliver Kahn presenter no or more come once some senator who say the course will be asked. Will be a freeba. May who say normal into a Oliver Kahn H. to my bonnet of farmers and I'll be here. Over Jonathan Kahn, the record Oliver Kahn get a ban on why. And watch it, remember who these gods are. Then when now be possessing America, now possessing America, what possesses the whole world? Because it is like one the two. If you are sitting now, can be if a molecule say legalizing abortion, millions of children were sacrificed. I want to learn something can or no Nebeka. Until legalization of abortion, and I lead to the sacrifice of Nkwala to the god Molech. Now, 1973. And America legalizing abortion. Now that we are as someone say abortion as anything connected with the year near court. No man refer to the home Roe versus Wade. And the only anti-America hono ya na yen shedan tiasie. Ben no kakra matiasie no me ne Ghana for beche. Roe versus Wade no be case bia. January 1973, the Kupi court will be challenging any of the court.
yɛde kɔɛ maame no a wɔsi ɛfura no Roe no ne din yɛ Jane Roe akyire no ɔda ne din adi sɛ ne din ankasa no yɛ Norma McCorvey na deɛ baayɛ no sɛ 69 ɛna ohun sɛ wafa afuo nti wɔkɔɔ hospital sɛ wɔn nyɛ abortion ma no wɔn so ntumi nyɛ mmara no wɔ ha no tia na deɛ nti a na ɔse wɔn nyɛ abortion no na ɔwɔ mmaa mmienu dada a wɔntumi ahwɛ wɔn nti no they went and stayed with others nti third child a we realize sɛ ɛba no ɛne dabi owi deɛ ɔde kɔɛ na wɔn nso sɛ yɛntumi nyɛ deɛ no nti no ɔde kɔɔ court yɛde kɔɔ court no ɛna wɔn kɔ bebu ho no Supreme Court no ɛkae na asɛm a esie na mamia menkan na mentwa in the court 72 ruling in late 1973 the 14th amendment again took the center stage. Associate Justice Henry Blackmun penned the decision declaring that the right to privacy contained in part in the amendments concept of personal liberty and restrictions on state action was broad enough to encompass a woman's decision to terminate her pregnancy. The justice ruled that a state law that broadly restricts abortion violates a woman's right to freedom in deciding whether to continue a pregnancy. To any man's argument, we say abortion be legal. Nti be legal no, ye ni titi ye no, na be abortion rate no, aginsem. Now yanko we making kanyema baako mienu bi ansana yetimi akọ na yakọ a second video no. Where Philadelphia trumpet. Okay, no can. Son of Cano, abodi na wie. Okay, is abortion really murder? The yebisa no. Abortion, yebisa say a murder now. Now let's compare notes. In 1973, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that unborn babies are not legal persons. Roe versus Wade. Some doctors claim that a fetus was just a protoplasmic mass. That is a feminist, Gloria Steinem, declared that a woman would have the right to abortion just as she has a right to remove any parasitic growth from her body. CNN interview September 9, 1981 emphasized mind throughout. When a reporter asks what happens in an abortion, notes an abortionist, Dr. Edward Allred, replied, the contents are evacuated. And notice this Gassem comment from Dr. Marty Kikomaki. An aborted baby is just garbage, and that's where it ends up. Why not make use of it for society? That is National Examiner, August 1980. 73 no Supreme Court take his decision in a be quite. Ghana hakwa no. Never mean me the kind abema you. Name graphic by 12 August 2000. AMA boss expresses concern about abortion. Now apparently one more causes a ball black bag no Ghana go vocal to go say aborted babies here me shishim. And you say that woman to be a picky base 100 cry. Ain't you know woman the bar say na dey ma some kwani and you kwa ba say nipa ankofo abort wo mu e de wo mu na mre ni nti enka be na kenkan bi na ba ku bi a esiye second one no okay any you be kind okay apparently sana Kaneshi market area ho. Ho kwa de ani bubu. Na we na o ma kosi sabon le do moko. Say na bakumbi free toy. Black bag ni bi.
Asama.
Ana da ekwan no envin. Endi obi a ye na bi obi a na bi o muti ya say noise bi pa. O mu ko ya say 7-month photos. And a car fan so and what pipe. Then soon need be with a pan craman.
Graphic way 18 January 2003, The Spectator, or say the I saw around Kaneshi Market by Basti Okan. Dumping of aborted fetus in this bin. Dumping of aborted fetus in dustbin and in toilet is becoming almost a daily affair around Kaneshi Market Complex in Accra. Cleaners at the market have always complained about this to the authorities of the market. Mr. H. Kwame Ampofu, General Manager of the Accra Market Limited, has revealed one of such incidents was witnessed on the busy streets of Kaneshi Odoko Main Road near the market late last year. During the rush hour, a vehicle ran over a 7-month-old fetus, which had been concealed in a black polythene bag. The intestines of the male fetus gushed out. The unpleasant sight attracted a large crowd to the scene. However, as at the time of going to the press, the person who committed the heinous crime was still unknown. The situation held up traffic for about 45 minutes as other vehicles attempt to avoid driving over the fetus. Matamento
Enjiro okay ma on kai. Obianko hwebi. Ukona be bia na
graphic ni 18 January 2003 Spectator and by.
Enti the esino no. Back to America. Planned Parenthood Margaret Sanger Edi Baye in 1942. One also now being say minorities. Yeah, nuisance. Yeah, blacks, Hispanians, no. More yeah, nuisance. And there are some no. Yet make say more worse. And the baby are no communities. I don't know abortion clinics, no. Ecosystem. Send it to media reduce. The largest service providers in abortion. Abortion, as a son, according to a publication, you say you have your basic rights.
Okay,
I'm a nations. Can be your market.
Okay, we the good news, September, October, 2005. I see UN treaty to make abortion a basic right. Some countries are using a UN treaty to make abortion an international legal right, according to the Catholic World News website. That is cwnews.com. Language making sexual and reproductive health services, UN jargon for abortion, a basic human right, has received broad support from government involved in drafting a UN treaty to protect and promote the right of a disabled. Such language has never previously appeared in Biden treaty. If approved, the treaty would require the signatory nation to provide persons with disabilities with same range and standard of health and rehabilitation services as provided other citizens, including sexual and reproductive health services, by describing such services as rights guaranteed to all citizens. The treaty would essentially enshrine abortion rights as international law.
Nti society dia abortion assistant di na sexual and reproductive health rights no dia. Yanko here second picture.
You share your second picture. The second picture the good news. September, October 2005. UN treaty to make abortion a basic right. It is a picture. Picture no I crowd of fetu sumaya na yemfan kasem senate no. Ejeja
Endi koso na enwaba.
Okay.
Edi kan ba yenko your picture to aso.
Your picture to aso. Okay. Your picture na you roll over. Okay. Where Daily Graphic 6 February 2017. That is PPAG call for policy to promote reproductive health right. And also our your crowd of many that's mine.
And PPAG ni planned Parenthood of Ghana.
Okay.
And the mother organization in the Planned Parenthood Madrasanga.
Okay.
At the Bayern. Okay. And the almost started. PPAG calls for policies to promote reproductive health rights.
Okay.
Your next picture.
Your next picture, Daily Graphic, 23rd October 2017. World Population Report calls for sexual and reproductive health rights. And it's another crowd of it. Okay. Honestly, also.
And also. And then you answer, say, I said, ya got word be.
Yeah.
And the abortion new name, no, and I have be there. Yeah, you who, you purposing.
Okay.
And the next say, yeah, driving at the alcohol say, say, into moi.
Okay.
Now say na etie. Last picture. Daily Graphic 26 October 2017. More women died from unsafe abortion. They can't say they actually say legalize abortion. One more say no person terminating. Abortion the be more my. The names are legalize it, you know. Almost no concussions are almost what from now abortion assembly Yabaka Alice Bailey at the 10-point rebellion you be die. And point number 4 all kind of system.
Okay. Alice Bailey is a point 10 points now lay out, you know. Point number 4. It says if sex is free, then make abortion legal and make it easy. She said, build a clinic for abortions. So build a clinics for abortion. Health clinic in schools. If people are going to enjoy and then the joy of sexual relationship, they need to be free of unnecessary fear. In other words, they should not be hampered with unwanted pregnancies.
And the question no work will enter into abortion. Your next video. Video and Planned Parenthood, the largest single provider of abortion service, and only in second video Tisa Kradwa Jatum MI.
Abortion has killed more African Americans than AIDS, cancer, diabetes, heart disease, and violent crime combined. Every week, more blacks die in American abortion clinics than were killed in the entire Vietnam War. And the largest chain of abortion clinics in the United States is operated by Planned Parenthood.
We have now reached a point in this country that African American women, though they make up 12% of the population, they account for 37% of the abortions. An African American baby is almost 5 times more likely to be aborted than a white child. The abortion industry at this point kills as many African American people every 4 days as the Klan killed in 150 years. And you can truly say the most dangerous place for an African American to be is in the womb of their African American mother.
All across America, you can stand outside of the abortion clinics and see a steady stream of black women coming in and out. But somewhere along the way, we got the idea that this is a white issue or a conservative issue or a Republican issue, and therefore it's not an issue that we have to be concerned about. This same attitude has allowed Planned Parenthood and other members of the abortion industry to carry out this genocide right under our very noses. Right now, in America, about half of our babies are being killed in the womb. And in certain parts of America, more of our babies are being aborted than are being born.
When 17,000 aborted babies were found in a dumpster outside of a pathology laboratory in Los Angeles, California, some 12 to 15,000 were observed to be black. Irma Clardy Craven, Chairman, Minneapolis Commission on Human Rights and Secretary of the Urban League.
To understand what the agenda was behind the legalization of abortion, all you need to do is look at the statistics from the U.S. government. Studies from the CDC show that prior to the legalization of abortion, approximately 80% of all illegal abortions were done on white women. One study in New York even found that white women had 5 times as many abortions as black women. But at the moment abortion became legal, that began to reverse. And that's why the legalization of abortion was so crucial for the eugenics movement. Legalization created the ability to market abortion in the black community. And from a eugenics standpoint, that changed everything.
These people cannot have it both ways. First, they say that birth control will reduce the number of abortions. Then they flood our neighborhoods with birth control clinics. And what's the result? Our abortion rate skyrockets. So either they lied about the fact that birth control would reduce abortions in our neighborhoods, or this is the results and the purpose they wanted from the beginning. At this point, I truly have the tendency to believe the latter.
In 1973, the year abortion was legalized nationwide, Dr. Christopher Tizzi produced a study on abortion demographics at the request of the Population Council, a New York-based eugenics organization. In this report, Tizzi confirmed previous research showing that when abortion is illegal, the abortion rate is much higher for white women than for black women, but that this completely reverses whenever abortion is legalized. At the time he published these findings, Tizzi was a consultant to both Planned Parenthood and the National Abortion Federation.
Other researchers within the eugenics and abortion movements were also documenting that easy access to abortion clinics produces higher abortion rates in the surrounding area. And at least one expert discovered that having a nearby clinic is a bigger factor in the black abortion rate than it is in the white abortion rate. At the same time this data is being circulated, Planned Parenthood and the rest of the abortion lobby were in the process of locating the vast majority of their facilities in minority neighborhoods. Then in 1974, a study was released on population control that had been conducted by researchers at 3 major universities. By analyzing data obtained from Planned Parenthood's own records, they determined that the #1 factor in deciding whether a county in the United States provided free or low-cost family planning services was not poverty, but race. The researchers said their findings seemed to support the contention of many civil rights activists that such programs are less intended to assist the poor than they are to control the growth of the black population.
Birth control and abortion are turning out to be the great eugenic advances of our time. Frederick Osborne, founding member of the American Eugenics Society, 1973.
The best way to hate a nigger is to hate him before he is born. Leander Perez, Louisiana State Judge, 1970.
Second video ever Planned Parenthood, the largest single provider of abortion service. Abortion whom you made in Yinano. Omo Kasamfuni and Awutumi Shea. Omo Church Kwam Faso Air abortion. Na Senebeya who said this is what they do. Edumo Muyini, Nedi Omukuni, the largest. Ebu Ogana, Ebu Omembiemu, Edi Ekosono. Enyadia eye de bi faako o man bi o moto apete nti se na ofa echiri mu o ma ye kan no so abortion abe the most common Malik Ninyama oyena sisia ni ye hold allegiance to ono ye kum kwadaye de mano no enu na ne abeye da abortion the popularist activity a koso ewo Ghana enu wiase afene nyina over
enti senior Jonathan kan no now say minorities I don't know more sacrifice or more enti video na ekohwe no African Americans almost come minorities no omu na ekoba senior video no eka now when 2022 June Supreme Court esa overturning Roe and Wade no esa say don't mean transfer ehwe ema sacrifice say no enkoso and almost have no say illegal at federal level in the states say I can't wait at the federal level no most of my planet model yes anko here third video no Supreme Court premises wo a judgment in by ebinum su ebinum ani age we dey just a short one that is the massive nyina abege
you can some phone e to so miensa a year protects and celebration as US Supreme Court overturns Roe versus Wade iti video na ye hwe ne kan no ne overturn no ene ye ba behwe and say kasa na ye ka about reading no enya video mesra reading na ye ka ho asem no aba bi o call hospital say o kwa akoya abortion na omo say omo mpeni mo de call court no court no later no omo ma no say we win case e be ya abortion no court no san so kwotena ase e omo Supreme Court e kwotena ase bi e overturn case no eno no video ene ye ba behwe this aye krado a jatu.
This is the moment America and women's rights went back in time. 50 years after legalizing abortion, the Supreme Court reversing a constitutional right for the first time. It is a decision which defines the deep divides in American life. For some, cause for celebration. For others, a deeply personal betrayal.
I've had an abortion. I'll speak about that openly. I was 19 years old. I still sit with the grief of that. I sit with the shame of that. It's very nuanced. It doesn't mean if we make that choice, it doesn't mean we're happy about it. But at least we had the opportunity. I didn't have the funding to take care of a child the way I wanted to. I didn't have the opportunities that a lot of these people have to take care of their kids.
More than half of America's 50 states will severely restrict or ban abortion in the coming hours and days. It is a seismic shift which moved angry lawmakers to march through the Capitol.
This is part of the Republican Party's dark vision for America. They want to roll back every possible right that has been earned over the decades. It is an anti-woman agenda. The Supreme Court has lost its legitimacy.
Trying to tell women what to do with their bodies, that is absolutely ridiculous. Our choice.
We're not going back. We're not going to be treated as second-class citizens, and we're dang on sure not going to be treated as property.
An intervention too from the president, a practicing Catholic who has wrestled with his feelings on abortion. Time unequivocal.
It's a sad day for court. Now with Roe gone, let's be very clear. The health and life of women in this nation are now at risk.
5 of these 9 Supreme Court justices voted to overturn Roe versus Wade, a 1973 ruling which legalised abortion to the point of fetal viability. In his opinion, Justice Samuel Alito wrote, Roe was egregiously wrong from the start. Its reasoning was exceptionally weak, and the decision has had damaging consequences. Another judge said the court should reconsider rulings that now protect contraception and same-sex marriage.
Do you worry about same-sex marriage? There was a
Absolutely.
line.
I absolutely do. I absolutely do worry about same-sex marriage. I worry about the policing of all sex acts in general.
For people outside America, this feels quite dystopian.
It is dystopian. It is dystopian.
The Supreme Court hasn't arrived at this point by accident. Its newly conservative composition is the product of political manoeuvring. This decision, the result of decades of campaigning by old and young.
Today is the day we usher in a new era for the United States that protects life,
that protects the unborn, that supports women.
This is undeniably a new era for America, but others will argue it's a repressive and regressive move, the full force of which will be felt by women in cities and states far from here. Martha Kellner, Sky News, Washington.
Yeah, we see how that's a say what times we brena with me share a casamphony a toss me and sa a free wafaya poku down kwa enchen e dia brew no na wo hwa casamphony a wo hwe no ebi manya je ebi musewira ho wo kwa America the two power state omo ho eye Democrat and Republican no wo hwa Democrat for no abonjo so wo hwa Republican for no abonjo so say yes sir ndo wo hwa sa nyama e koso nyina no a Abusia enya ahonko awo Ghana ha ewa ha say no be kind last week in program no say it is under G. Most of the leaders have accepted it, but omu come first one make say adia to and the video I will show you and akwada wenya 19 years hwede oka o say nani age say enya right na enya papa na so nani age say overturn it because when you say decision now we're taking enye baby musu say sa adena overturn no enka yanko mo insist na enye adwuma na nka omonyemu a motumi akọ hospital sana Alice Bailey's e kan wo no 10 principles one as a 10 words no e number 4 na me read ma wo no you make it sex to enjoyable to enjoy so that we make it hospital na say clinical so mo enjoy sex no na say yin se mba motumi akọ yin se no eno and the Supreme Court of US by overturning as someone of course between the Roe and Wade issues no obana or hospitals or koya abortion na omo monye man no and case no more overturn no over
let us say enti so me the man rest oba de ya do mo next week no e be sa kan do fire no
we can do the be let us be yes that's it abuja ya that's say when ya brena wotumi atie wo fire we need ni e more fire so we can say more fire out here say ye ko Israel nchen wa wodim say Israel dey spark here more fire more fire say am kan if I want to see the comment from you more fire Israel more fire obe fire so abuja ma me fa say me ba kuma na fatu ko to dweme san say ye ka say na no your branches wo Ghana your branches wo Ghana ni nyina is all about whatever we teach here the extra no ha no eno na ye call in branches ni na ewo ho na visitations be koso ye na wotu e disi mi sa visitations no na me ba bebo ama wetie bibia ye be ko visitation e di kan e sihwi asa so on the 17th of June 2023 and the 17th of June today is 18th of June now the following week the following week Saturday by Shabbat siri asan so ba abebe class wo ho na peni odano a opese winya na woni di nkomo e fe ni Benito 0594205795 0594205795 Benito o fe no a obema direction na wo so wetumi e be TV sada no aso na class na ekoso no sada na class ne koso no sehwi bekwai so class bekoso na de odano eye openi afo anasa Mr Afo obetumi afre Mr Afo 0240100581 0240100581 ofre Mr Afro de wo bia no ono ebeka saa so na the same day na so eye achiase eye odan achiase eno so class bekoso ewo ho na de oda ho no anasa de obeko ho no eye baba brother MP ni baba eno mbeko ho na number na betumi afro na wetumi nya directions to the place no eye 0243041665 0243041665 saso na special thanks ekoma enchi siwum nana ejei ene rasta ediko se mendamwase de moye mano emra ene de etwi monomaya de papa oba de kania enkam ho na muntumi nye de sese moye ebusia special thanksgiving so biem ekoma ho ene oti branch maya de papa de course ozo wa tire ma se bibia wa se ho ile mu nyina asese monya krado na muntumi sa so na madam Amika ene Sylvester osi thanksgiving kese ekomam adwuma so amoye no monkoso amonvezi oboade consciousness to the people so they be mehu no kure no abusia be ye bi nkara de beto o mesa bebiem ene wo bedi nkomo efa ye bi no eye the part a ye beko Israel enkroma enchen more fire se na make catch on say more fire o kan obe fire so Israel okay baba
you know me that affair was some I think now make sure for
okay
na baby na areho ba so akoya say the ye no ne no ye hu say e bone o ye hu say e bone kana she die abota baby no areho I fu baby no aboto akola ya ne pese asa obawi ase o na obi na de no baaye we na shepherd and bago
asama de so
yeah so ti o ma do se we se ko so a okay ya na areho bonu we se de enkan die die yempene enso no bonu ya ehu a chen ge na ye no ma we mu adding Market Metia with tea region for
okay
and right at your monka of your actually cool a focus number it's a think like I call the 8 hours journey yeah then I'll be catching me before we yeah it's your contract and right on my idea any power more energy program no adoso the baby na or the na to dwa
okay
na amount for free
okay
the fan said the bedroom here reach obi
okay
asori sabi amadi hwammo asori edi hwammo baby nka asori wono nka total peace and harmony the di hino hono enso ya kacha man for say ade a asole ade ba ade breye no amaboye afina man for no ti de kana say yi na mosom nya sori o na mosom nya sori
okay
what are some no gugu for no katre ajina sare so wo nyankopon akọ but no
amagashia ihu amadien amagahoho
so I feel na man for asole esoma ye kan no start here no man for no I feel na man for na nkasa nka me e na if oti north oti region ebe kan ye bako
afua hana beti afua no age so yangwe
kwada de ozo meti
na biko producers o beti ba chiru
na okọ isiru so a no region so a man for twenya pa
ye jifo no
e do say ye okay dabi
okay
da Dominic be say di man
okay
of manage say in some of the Gana for no anya kwa in some of the Gana for no anya kwa mo hu say a credit sense kasa na the evidence atato say your body ya adansi ni Gana for go bi a o petinye
yeah
nti ye kan say amfa adansi anka ho a ana omo hu ye je kan na da atato afa e me kan say ade a shede pa bim say nyamsom e ya sore the can last week no ene e san so no aka na biem
okay
so won say obi kwa Qur'ana ma fa ka siramba no le bae
okay
obi kwa Qur'ana ay kramani Qur'ano ena guide in life
okay
Oh, ne Allah and them. Right?
Yeah.
Good. Obi kura Bible a ọsọ the Christian ọkọ SD ọkọ Pentecost ọkọ Apostolic ọkọ nyinaa church denominations no.
Okay.
Enti no obi wa no ọkọda Bible say no da ebe sum ye.
No ni ti da so.
Ti da so. Na wada. Obi ọkọda ne mpa ne ho no no de ato no mo na wada. Obi yare na the hospital a ọkọ na Bible ekuta no. Adentira. Okay, you will GDA. I was saying, no, me say, go pass some any woman. And then I got in. Into the absolute beer, let me be no. Why you could not let me be another criminal, let me be no. And come for quite the part of the Bible we see. Or what the part bad baby Eddie.
Okay.
I must say 5 book of Moses from the Torah. Or Mujid say, a hope on some.
Okay.
And come for a GD. I guess for a GD. And the Bible say book will be able to share in the Bible and she say and then a hoodoo in a copasum and then the pantheon. But and then I was a Christopher. Oh my mistake be a man for who said the Kayano and the correct. The can say a sudden feeling copon and the correct. Brunei the assault brow. That's a so more. What you say, I don't know. Boni or the religion or church, Abrawa. That's a good more. What you say? When you jam say, oh, one point you. You come culture. I'm not that better war. You come a man in a mamre, not that better war. A son say, Boni ma Africa has said, no, Michael, they were quite persuaded you see upon. Sir Obi. I could for be here. The Pamono, a few cool on the mobile.
Okay.
Obi, then I bear my da. Fan comes you. On corner of one children. On some it
they banish the person.
Thank you.
Okay.
So punishment, you know, punishment to death.
I said, be to me to know.
Yes.
Okay.
Say that about punishment. There are more as you know, say punishment.
Yes.
Don't tell the man, not show me ye. Into the end, I don't even say, no more dear. I am from more gun in no good one coach a beer. What did one day say who are the Mount Trinity? I watch worry.
Bianco.
Bianco, one children. Was I more than a marry? To what I did for the inhuman. What idea, any idea is in the pie. Sablano, now I saw the mayo. Sablano, now we for the missionaries in Africa.
And so now we had the right thing.
No, hear me. No, we had the right thing.
Yeah.
I saw by no. I will catch you and say, I don't mean I will be here. I was myself. And then I'm saying, and I'm comforted and say, oh, sir, oh, sir, oh, sir. And I'm just said, and I'm some. Until he friend to my crown pie, if any minute. Right?
Yeah.
Good. No more far Bible will say, and you go for some. Until now, oh my yama, I am for quiet to make answer them, not a full trouble, not wedding. You say, oh, but and you fear. Don't cast it to more. Hey, Monsieur, trust you. The son said, I will bow Bonumu, Markel. Many of us are looking at me, tells you, say, a tearful, much of my city are. Say, a solid, be a honeymoon. Not say, I saw ya solid. Then to no animal, or what you go in.
Yeah.
So, or defending upon us at my boy. Good. Every church be a piano, so could be there, and then will be died. Church be a we're gonna have piano. Yes, say, would you friend upon us?
Yeah. More fire.
Right?
Yeah.
Until the minute been test yourself. I'm going to say, I am for. So, we say, no, I sure dear what, and I'm
Pepe.
There's also super on quite in field. ahemfo asafo say omuso abosom no ahemfo no obi baba fa bede nko ba ma say onkwa ahemfie mpo but adan na de asorefo ekasa say a different game for okay yeah me say church
okay
democracy
yeah
and you go new way now or they control before church and democracy go new way upon can see about power or about two of them
church and democracy.
Oh yes,
a greater weapon.
When some about four or more can see about or the brawa no two culture or mama every home no be empty soul no control I saw by no mama and fear be a whole
empty crowd
and so maka fa him for him they did to right good and a Bible no can say Sadia will say so be ya say the final no right
yeah
good I will say obi ya say the final no and then Sarah Bible no catch say obi for be la aye bone and the mujutum
the same Bible now
the same Bible now
yeah
obi for be dia aye bone majatum
yeah
na fi no Bible ka say ma ba man no yanku ba man na mo say Yesu nti omi nyina ya kopon ma
o clean bi ya
nti ase for Bible no here Let me test you.
We will share Wake Up Africa, Jumedia, I the small Quesedia Biano, and one you wish I fire. Leviticus, not me wager, saying
Leviticus 20 verse 13.
Leviticus chapter 20, verses 13. About that's homosexuality. If a man also lied with mankind,
okay, shall 20.
Miss 20. Okay. Where this okay, my shall 20. Moses and a kind. I say, and the Lord speak unto Moses, saying, again, thou shalt say to the children of Israel, whosoever he be of the children of Israel or of the stranger that sojourn in Israel.
Thank you. I feel it was 13.
13. If a man also
Israel for no say no
if a man also lied with mankind as he lied with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. 14. And if a man take a wife and her mother, it is a wickedness. They shall be burnt with fire, both he and they, that there be no wickedness among you. 15. And if a man lied with a beast, he shall surely be put to death. Yes, sir. So last week we can.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good.
And ye shall slay the beast. 16. And if a woman approach unto any beast and lie down thereto, thou shalt kill the woman, and the beast thou shalt surely be put to death.
Thank you.
Their blood shall be upon them. 17. And if a man shall take his sister, his father's daughter, or his mother's daughter, and see her nakedness, and shall see his nakedness, it is a wicked thing. And they shall be cut off in the sight of their people. He hath uncovered his sister's nakedness.
Like I said,
that's right. Okay.
Into a yenkuno, and boy,
sir.
Yenkuno,
sir.
Yeah. Will be fat. Ninia bar, Yenkuno. obi ne aboa akwada na fa no queer no
yenkuno
jimi no queer yenkuno good
Israel
enti no sa ne tedi a nkopɔ na kasa wo onyenhwɛ amaman bi amaman bi a ɔmo wotumi sɛ ɔmo gye ne pankwan efro ɔmo nsam na ɔmo kotukotu Koran em dekeke amaman bi a ɔmo wiase a ɔmo sɛ yɛyɛ man deɛ we don't like democracy. That's of a democracy once a while. Here, man, dear, you don't like democracy. And here, the law, no, you find Sharia law. Sharia law. Okay. Now, Sharia law, no, part, no, at the laws of Moses. Okay. Until the obedience of one will be a. Sharia law said the young kuno.
I was always wake up Africa show. Kai said, baby, I know fan Israel digesting information. Now digesting now who state the opposite answer. And I said the opposite answer now. Now we're putting into the comment 0504643052. And as I said, over to media call your social media handles over YouTube Wake Up African GH on Facebook. So also over to me as no comment. Then I can come off a fair.
But some you know that. Ubia ka say ohu nsam e wa sankegwa
asanko
and I say atemfo
okay
and atwefo man
okay
bu nsam oye no yoye action
okay
ade a obaye no na ehu say tumi bi tu mu a emfi Nyankopon
okay
ade a obaye no say onyame ne pa a good man nti ne pa action na kire de etu mu right
yeah
good you get am penny Can you want Mussolini? Upon a panasamo. Oh, the kind maybe a show. I'm American for that time. American for the full American therefore, ya. On say, on lifestyle, or might be a edutum. It's a winning to more, on one tears that. That's all fucking kind. Abortion. American man, almost in God we trust. Dear God. Dear God. God obey. Yahweh. And I say, dear God.
Molek God. No, Fakano. Molek.
In God we trust. American dear, I'm so full. Oh, I want to suffer to know how to go poor.
More fire.
In God we trust. What do not pass law? Abortion. Now there are what I say. On my campaign, we put vote into no. I'm not day for. Some automobile. Hey, let's see him. I saw you 2 million. Sorry, you do that. You pass him law at the mama.
I'm so mad.
I'm so mad too. I can't remember. Until no, I'm penny no. Maybe say, I don't know dear. Ma ubia enyege.
Okay.
So we gay
okay. We say DNA penny DNA.
You will Mussolini.
You will Mussolini.
Yes.
Okay.
Fair Kuru Uganda.
Okay.
As someone say, I told.
Okay. People a daily guide. 14 January 2010.
What's it?
Okay. Uganda press.
How many years now?
2010. How many? That is 13 years.
Thank you. 30 years in. And see, my partner, I saw you actually. You Mussolini. I saw you. Oh, dear, for so no. I check. Now, I can't send me. Now, far. Many people say, what first one? I'm a sign.
See, I can't.
Oh, a sign. Obi a gay, young Kunum.
Okay.
Now, and then we can be friendly or do matam. Now, if I will be, I put you fool. I will eat the bone. With the own camera. They come in. I will eat the bone. Come up there, but not order. It was only not for a boss of our 190 years. But cast not packet. Now, son, I gave for a bit more. And then we can. I'm here again for almost a day. I said, I saw more bomb. I'm afraid me at the deep. I want to bomb the car number. I'm saying, Bunada, Branda me call. So mo ka say omunia na mani agye na mama announcement wo ba ha no mo. So mo so ni fo no bi a say mo a medical Saturday na we na ba ha no bi.
Okay.
So mo say brother you share ha no mo. Good. The be ma me show so me na me de ho no ma no. Nti me chef ho.
Bush canteen.
Yeah, Bush canteen.
Okay.
Only more Bush canteen. 3 under.
3 under.
Our Instagram house.
Okay, young
Branda no ko. No ko on my go.
Well, na me ko say.
Na fi no maka ma me say Davi, e na ye wo. Me ni ge fu abehia. So good you go so ye ge a. Na ba nan so. So but no go fu no bia. E say wa. Ya so no. Sa program mo ke pa. Me so mo ke sa.
Oi, na oni wa tam di aba. E ba o fu is mi ya na me di a kire o.
Ge fu. Alade. Oh my way. Obi say me you carry no money. Nso a woni me mpa ah e carry do for 3 yanda. I want to pass apa. So for quite me nyame sa. So for that is for. So for quite me nyame sa. So for gay. And put on to me carry. Oh, to tell you the atom. It's fine. Nafa, yeah, young cousin will around. I saw him to me. Young cousin will see a solid end to me.
I saw a pisca. I didn't tell him.
I'm telling you,
yeah,
I saw him to me. You see, I didn't to me now. What about mammy? Then go for and some. You say I'm a mammy or Cassa. Or so I'm not just here. Now, and quite a bit deny him. About deny him. Until I was a man who say, I don't say no, when you go upon Etty. A man who say, or by dear and pet. I can't know I say you. Tell a man who say, or can't say no, shall I am looking for the end.
Okay, me bo graphic na daily graphic 14 January 2010. Yoweri Museveni. Uganda press were off the bill. Uganda president from a bill proposing execution for some gay people. He stressed that the MP who really did so as an individual and was not following the government policy. Museveni, who admitted coming under international pressure, said the bill was now a foreign policy issue and would be discussed by the proposal criticism across the world. Sweden has threatened to cut aid and other countries have contacted Mr. Museveni directly to Joshua has been on the dear Uganda say Sishna Uganda say one John 20 Oman first Canada F to the US Clinton and I said state then also firm a gay into the bar and say or say sad decision no mu take no individual yes no mo dey and I say individual be omon kai say so we take it consider the foreign interest the we are seeing na say san conform mo frɛ omo no omo consider omo interest say be ye djuma o sad be no eye motive no
and say on sign wasign thank you if you say yeah so we won say boni a mo boni control I dem so say the Ghana parliamentarians some of them abu school
okay
abuchiri mo yale am hospital abuchiri no mo fi ewo nko holidays na ho no mo I don't say fan tomorrow be a onya besa afa nko abuchiri
a diplomatic visas
oh yeah you don't have also when you say where is go to Caribbean on to Caribbean
oh South Africa rich we are rich
entino ni nko for ade abofo ade wiki yen no and some of the ministers no omo fie bi no ade me ka say aid yes we say so if you do ho do fi wa no
ono child ya we
yes
okay
so ntu mo ho obo de bi di no ayi wako ka ha say papa we say beka
to hold to anti-gay 31st October 2011
thank you
men kan kakra
yeah so no nche so kasa o me tuwa no I phone ba mo
UK you can say with Cameron on no treaty and I say can say treaty or train say on my and to and about oh my mun to mo and be am di bu am be engage
I'm only say
mad
Bema nsenya hwime sanko obiom omko YouTube no mo man do wiase omo de e gba kan asem ababa be pickup o say bemen Islam ebe je France afa Islam we conquer Europe adentia o say trinity ewe kam gay Islam epam enja o kam gay dia say utwa awoso
yes a better weapon for
yes
for giving birth
good
okay
no kam gay dem to man I want to marry
ready
entino ya me kan yo abamanu babe no